All right, so we've had a couple days off where I haven't done a video, and like I said, I mainly do videos because there's something in there that I want to show you, something that I'm working on, some point of leverage and traction that we can see, and just point blank over the last few days, it's been dead flat. I mean, it has been like Salt Lake's. I've never been there, but like just dead flat. It's a lake and not an ocean. Really, there hasn't been much movement. It's been under a point on pretty much um, every stock index out there, and I hadn't really looked at the volume, but based on the fact that like nothing was moving, you have to think the volume was really low. And so one of the things that I'm thinking at, just trying to think big picture, because we're not going to go into super technical factors when it comes to these videos, is just look at what's really going on in the real world and trying to compare it. And so one of the things that we noticed is that that the big question is, and this is kind of after a couple weeks of those protests and riots and things like that, is the number of cases gone up. So partly I think that's due to testing as well. But I think partly it's just people have just seen the I'm just going to be point blank. They've seen the hypocrisy of the media and the medical establishment saying you need to lock down, you can't go out, don't go in groups of more than 10. Oh, there's riots or protests. Well, you can do that. That's fine. That's totally fine. And then all the people that are left holding the bag because they can't go to church or can't go in groups or can't get married or can't bury their family member, sorry, it's kind of morose, but it's true, are looking going, you guys are a bunch of freaking hypocrites. And so they're just saying, the heck with it. You know, whatever you've said, we don't believe you anymore. And so they've gotten out, and what you've seen is more cases go up, which is normal like anything else. It would be no different than when I was a kid, and I remember I was one of the very few people that got chickenpox twice, which is kind of odd, but I definitely had it twice. But back then, when somebody had chickenpox, they didn't keep their kid at home. The parents had what were called chickenpox parties. And so what they'd do is that if they had to have one or two kids with chickenpox, they'd invite all their friends over, and they figure you might as well just get it knocked out early so we don't have to worry about it later. And so everybody in the school would have chickenpox for like a month or over a month period of time, rather. And and then it would get it over with. And so I think that's what we're seeing right now is we're seeing the number of cases go up because people are just like, the heck with it. We don't believe you. There's such hypocrisy. The media and the authorities, to be honest, have really lost their moral authority because they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. And it's sad because there's probably some truth to what they're saying to some degree, but nobody listens anymore because once you're an authority and you've been shown to lie to somebody, then you can forget about it. They're just not going to listen to you. It's like if you've cheated on your wife and your wife finds out on you, you could sit here for the next 3 years and come home every day and say, honey, I didn't cheat on you. And she's really just not going to be sold on that. You may not have, but in her mind, it's no different. And so we're not seeing a whole lot of movement now. So what I'm guessing from what I see here, because it seems to be a pattern, is that there's not a lot of movement because there's not a lot of people committing their money one way or another. And so is there a mass sell-off because people are worried about cases? No. I mean, to be honest, they're talking about case counts, but they're not talking about deaths or ICU capacity or hospitalization capacity because those are all down. But the cases are up, which is fine. I mean, if you believe in herd immunity, and I don't know enough whether to believe it or not, you'd want cases to go up because that gets you to herd immunity faster. And I remember early on they said that everybody's going to get it. So look, if you have a bunch of people with cases and they're not really, hospitalized patients, or maybe they're asymptomatic too, then that actually works to your advantage. So there's people saying, okay, the cases are going up, but is that going to translate as a leading indicator to something worse? In other words, are hospitalizations going to go through the roof next week, or deaths or things like that? And I don't know. And I think anybody who's being intellectually honest would say, I don't know. And the people that are investing right now are voting with their feet. And they're basically saying, we don't know. And so they're not making a committal either way. And so what they're looking at is they want to get data that points one way or another. And so if there's a whole bunch of deaths, then that tells them what to do. And if there isn't, and it turns out that it was just kind of a false alarm, then that tells them what to do as well. And I have a feeling a lot of people really want to see the prices on things go up when good news comes. And that's why they're not selling, because it'd be moronic. You have no news and you decide to sell, and then all of a sudden you find out that it wasn't as bad as you thought, and then the stocks go through the roof. That's why nobody's selling. But at the same time, nobody's buying because they don't know where to go. And so realistically, when we're looking at the stocks today, there's only two that hit double digits. And really, it's the main reason I'm doing a video today. Was one, Red Robin went up 12.94%, so basically 13%. But it's kind of a misnomer, because when there was worry about the caseloads going up, they kind of sunk down, and now they're basically where they were right here. And so this 13% gain is a complete misnomer when you're looking at kind of the wider view on that. Same thing with Azul Airlines. This is a South American Airlines. I always forget which country this is from. Was it from Brazil? Yeah, Brazil. It's from Brazil. And it's the same thing. So they went down because it was unsure, kind of unsure, but then they popped up, but they popped up a little bit faster. So they went up 12.5%, but for the week, they're basically, 1% over. So that's kind of a misnomer. They're just playing catch up. But for the most part, as we're looking at this, all these stocks that we own, 3%, whether they're down or up, 3, 5, 6, 2, and then we looked at that, 4, 6, 3, 7, 0, 3, 2, 2, 2. And so it's basically, that's what you're looking at. When you look at our watch list, it's the same thing, 4, 2, 6, 6, 1, 0, 2, 2. There's not a whole lot of movements. And you got to remember, a lot of these stocks are a little bit more, I wouldn't say more volatile. They are kind of more volatile, but they were more severely depressed from a damage standpoint, meaning there's a lot more upside, and they're just not moving all that much. So that being said, I went into, and we'll take a look at this, I went into here and I tried to figure out, all right, am I going to make any changes? So I basically copied this one from the prior data and then basically put in new prices, sorted it out, and this is the new data. And so Red Robin went from number 4, because it went up, to number 7, which is fine. And then MFA, really the only other notable, went from number 8 to number 6. And so our upsides are pretty good, but we own all these already. MFA is really the only one that I would look at. And we have a limit order where it's coming in. I'd have and we'll talk about that, but I have a limit order for that if it hits a certain low point, because I just can't resist it, basically. But we decided we're going to hold still. We're going to do what everybody else is doing. There's no real point in moving when there's no movement. And that's kind of part of my rationale, is if nothing's moving, why should you do it? If there's no movement and you make a buy, then maybe you should have bought before anyway. But there's a reason you waited. And that same reason you waited before is the same reason you wait right now. So with that being said, over the last few weeks, last few days, we had some limit orders pending, and our XAN, which is, we'll go into, all right, XAN. This is a new one, so I always got to remember what it's called. Exantis Capital Corporation. This one is, commercial mortgage loans, commercial debt related. Basically, they're commercial REITs and mortgage loans. Founded in New York, which is kind of good for that. And let's take a look at when. Founded in 2005, New York. So it survived the Great Recession, which is definitely good. So we ended up buying it at 280, and it's gone down a little bit farther than that. So it's at 269 right now, but it lowered our cost basis down to 321, which is perfectly good. We also bought Huff and Mifflin. They are the industry leader when it comes to textbooks for schools. And we got that in at 193, and it's currently at 211. And I remember this one, we actually priced it really well because it hit 183 and bounced right back up. So this one, let me make sure. Oh, this one I didn't update. So let's do this. It's actually higher. All right. So this one bounced up to 211. So we're doing pretty well on that one. It's up 10%. so far, just due to the worries about the new cases, some of these numbers aren't as high. I think our best producer is Crestwood Equity at 200. Braemar Resorts took a hit. And again, they're a travel company. They do hotels and things like that and casinos. So, there's a little bit of concern on that end. And to that end, I'm actually looking at maybe buying something. But I probably would only buy more Braemar if, gosh, I kind of need to. Maybe if it hits a certain, I don't know, if it hits like 250 or something, I might buy something. So I might put in, where's Braemar? Do I even have that? Where is that on here? It's probably down here farther. Okay, Braemar is number 10, and it's in blue, so that should be easy. Oh, there it is. All right. So I'll put that as a marker there. Gosh, that's a 3. Yeah, I might need to buy one of those. And that's, we're already up 121 on that, so this is an exception, but I really love this stock. So we're going to take a look at that one. So we'll put this in yellow as well, just so we have a marker for that. So let's take a look here. Beyond that, PVAC's still doing really well. Yuko is above ground, which is great. And the only ones that are negative, we have RDI, which we're going to sell once it hits 450. That's Reading Cinemas. Red Robin Group I bought, and then it's just, I think it's what, 6 cents, no, 26 cents under what we bought it for. But that's fine. I mean, it's still kind of in a good place where we want to have it. And let's see, Viad, which is kind of a travel and entertainment company. They used to own Greyhound. I'm not sure how much of that is important to them now. But obviously when there's uncertainty about more cases, that's going to go down. So we'll leave that alone. That'll pop back up pretty shortly. And then XAN, which is the REIT company, that one's been down a little bit. But we have a good $4,000 invested in that. And I think our over-under is like 4 on this. So we're doing really well when it comes to XAN. So I'm thinking on this. I really do want to get on this Braemar because I don't think we're going to see it this low again. And having it be basically, that kind of upside. Yes, it would raise our cost basis, but again, I don't like it being the lowest one as far as our lowest investment that we have here, especially how well it's performed when things are doing well. And when things start doing well again, this thing's going to jump again. So, man, I got to buy it. So maybe what I'm going to do, you think of what are we going to liquidate? I'm looking at 2 harbors, obviously, something that's low on this end. Partly because I don't want to take much of a cost or a capital gain hit, but partly it's like it'll free up money. So IVR, yeah, maybe what we'll do is we'll probably sell a little bit of IVR. Or just one of the new ones. Let's see, where are we at as far as upside? Let's take a look at this. This is why you guys are here. Hufflin Mifflin and IVR. So let's take a look at their upside. All right, IVR is at 467. Hufflin Mifflin's at 341. Yeah, we can probably, I think what we're going to do is we are going to Hufflin Mifflin. We'll figure out what we're going to sell it for. And we'll sell those 1,100 shares. Figure out what that's going to be. Current price. All right, so let's see what we're going to sell this for. Let's take a look here. 211. So let's take a look at this a little bit more in depth, see what price point we want to sell this at. Nothing after hours. It's gained a little bit today. So maybe let's take a look at what we have for the day as a whole. So it opened at 202, got down to 197, up to 213, and closed at 211. Yeah, so maybe we just do a market sell. I think we're going to do a market sell on this one. So let's call 211. And then we can, let's take a look at this. We'll BHR. Man, I haven't bought one of these in forever. So we'll clear that out. Clear this out. Let's get current price. This will at least get my annoyance down. So, all right. So let's take Braemar. And the nice thing about this is we're getting it on a 7-point drop today. So let somebody else take the hit on the drop. So we're buying it after all this. So maybe what we'll do is we'll get it at 275. And we're selling, what, 2,300? 2.75, not 275. All right, so maybe 800 shares. Is that about right? 2,300. All right, 730. So that works pretty well. All right, so let's do that, and I'll go ahead and put those orders in. That way we can get this thing bumped up, and it'll stop annoying me to death. And we're taking a good hit when it went low. Yes, it's going to raise the overall cost basis, but let's not be myopic or obtuse about it. That'll be a nice little benefit we have there. And yeah, I think we'll be in good shape. All right, so let's look at our indices. So far we have CNN. Get rid of the pop-up. All right, it's down 55. That means nothing this early. It's super low. And then this 131 was the gain for the day. So they just haven't updated theirs yet for today. So we'll look at that later as we go on. And so I'll take a look. So 30% of shale companies could go belly up if crude stays this cheap. That's a big if. It's not going to stay this cheap. Oil right now, I want to say is at, let's see, I want to say it's like 40 bucks. Yeah, 40.37 right there. WTI crude, that's West Texas Intermediate. That's the one that's stuff we do. About 40 bucks. Remember, this was the one that was down underwater. So if we follow the trend line, it's going to go up. The average is about 50 to 60. But we have so much pent-up demand, there might be a small pop where it actually goes even higher than that. So with that being said, I'm not really too worried about that. All right, so, and plus you have an oil president in there, so I'm definitely not worried. At least through the election, I think we're going to be fine. So with that being said, in the video description, there is a link to a couple things. One, if you don't have a Robinhood account, there's a link where you can basically get a free stock when you use the link that I put in there. Also, there's a link to this spreadsheet. So if you haven't used that yet, then you can basically download it, use it, copy it, cheat it, make it better. You know, whatever you want to do, it's all yours to use. Play around with the numbers, look at some of the things we have here. But I'm always making updates to this. You can do the same thing as well. So with that being said, I will see you tomorrow.
To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click on the link below and let me help you start to experience these results starting right now.